Welcome back to the Leadership Effect and welcome to our Christmas special. Today's episode is a little bit different. It's more relaxed, it's more personal, and honestly, one we've really been looking forward to.
Yes, we have. And it's a big one for us. It's the end of the year. It was a great year for our clients, for many leaders out there. So first and foremost, we want to say thank you. Thank you for engaging with us. Thank you for listening to us. And thank you for working with us and trusting us throughout the year with all your needs in leadership development, assessment, and talent strategy.
Yes, it's been a really great year. And we're excited to have almost the entire team today. As you know, traveling during the holidays can be really tricky. So unfortunately, Mopaka wasn't able to join us as she's on her way home. So we wish her a safe flight. And we still are from different countries with different traditions and different ways of switching off. So we're going to dive into that in a bit, and this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're talking about how we truly switching off and how you can disconnect from everything that is work and other things, and how leaders can make the most of their holidays, not just celebrating it, but also being inclusive about Christmas. And we're also going to talk about our different Christmas and winter traditions because, yes, as Camilla said, we are from different countries. We all have different traditions and ways of celebrating, and we can shed a light on that today.
So grab a warm drink, settle in, and let's wrap up the year together.
Yeah, and before we talk about rest, let's talk about something leaders often forget, which is my favorite part between Christmas and New Year's, is about reflection. Because in the end of the day, we always rush from one thing to another, but this time is really opportunity to pause and think of what have I done well this year? What do I need to work on? What do I want to achieve? And how do I want next year to feel like and look like?
I love that. And as we always encourage leaders to recognize progress, both their teams and their own, let's also do it ourselves. So, what's one thing that you're proud of this year?
So for me, there are a few things. I mean, I've taken up running this year. Well, sorry, I found my love for running again. I always have a love-hate relationship, but I've been really consistent. Normally in December, I say I don't want to run, so I'm giving all my December off. But actually, this year I've crashed a few PBs so I managed to do a under 60 minute 10K. And then I also on the weekend I crashed a park run, which was my fastest this year. So well under 30 minutes for 5K, which was really lovely. And then obviously for Chief CTC, something I am incredibly proud of, and I'm sure Camilla you are as well, is how our clients embrace leadership development. Instead of doing a tick box exercise, really saying like, yes, we want to develop our leaders, we want to do it the right way, especially in times of pressure and uncertainty. This is really important, and it's great to see so many clients embracing it. And yeah, I'm really, really proud of them and of what part we played in there.
Yeah, I love that. How about you, Lauren? What are you proud of?
So one thing for me that I'm really proud of this year is actually being accepted onto this internship and having the opportunity
Mm.
to work with the chief CTC and learn and absorb so much information from the team and also just the
Wow.
business. So definitely that's something that is a very proud moment for me. And I think it's enabling me to continue to grow and learn a multitude of skills which I can use for the rest of my life, really. So that's definitely something I'm really proud of this year.
Oh, I
Oh,
love that.
and
Love
we are
that.
proud to have you, and you chose
Yeah, of
us.
course, of course. I think for me, one of the things that I'm most proud of is that we've taken some real risks, like you mentioned, Catherine, and we've really kind of followed through on them. So coming from a large, well-established organization, it's so easy to believe that everything has to be perfect. And that before you kind of put it out in the world, right? And we've kind of challenged that a little bit this year. And we launched our YouTube channel without having that much experience before we did it, right? And we
Yeah.
started sharing our thinking more openly and kind of trusting that our experience and perspectives and conversations might actually be useful for someone out there, even if it wasn't like super polished. So, and spent a lot of time upskilling ourselves on AI and and building a self-led leadership program. And I'm super excited about that for next year and for this to kind of carry on.
But it's also what really is interesting. I know, Camilla, you pushed yourself really out of your comfort zone as well doing that, because I know you're really perfectionist, and then actually pushing yourself to doing the podcast, being off script, and obviously being in the limelight. So well done, you.
Yeah, I am really proud of that personally and like business wise. So yeah,
absolutely. Let's talk about how to really take time off and disconnect. I find this year, time between Christmas and New Year, is almost a little bit easier to disconnect because it feels the whole world is off. When you're going on holiday in August, you come back and then suddenly you are almost punished for going away because you've got so many emails to reply. But Christmas, almost the whole world stands still, and it means you don't come back to lots of emails for most people, not for everyone. So let's talk about how you rest and disconnect. I know it's a really important skill for leaders. So what helps you to unwind?
I think for me, it's become more about psychological rest over the last years. I've always been super good at physical activity, and that's how I kind of used to recharge. But with two small kids, it's not always realistic, right? Or I don't always prioritize it. So it's more about boundaries for me. It's about guilt-free rest. Sometimes letting the kids watch TV so I can chill in the sofa with a cup of tea and reading a good book. And also being more mindful of my environment. Maybe that with age to be more mindful about that. I don't know, but really being surrounded by people who give me energy. That's really important for me.
Yeah. And for me, it's also the physical rest. So obviously I'm also a gym owner, and that is what I preach for my clients. Like, there is a lot of indulgence at Christmas, and I'm not a big fan of you have to move to be able to eat. But I am a fan of, if you feel really tired and you've eaten so much, I like movement. And it doesn't have to be a run. I will be running because I now love running again. But in general, it's also about any kind of movement, like taking the dogs out or taking the kids out and go in the fresh air. Because sometimes when the weather is so awfully here in the UK, we want to make sure that we scoop ourselves inside, but actually it's going out and getting fresh air and almost blow the cobwebs away. That is really what helps me energizing and get through those days.
Yeah. And how about you, Lauren? Like, how do you set boundaries when kind of work, study, social life is all happening on the same device?
Yeah, it's definitely hard, as you say, when everything's on your phone to actually switch off. So for me, I try and be really intentional with setting boundaries. So, for example, if I'm having time off and relaxing, I'm not on my emails checking work or university stuff.
Good.
I'm allowing myself to really switch off and actually be okay with the fact that I am switching off and resting and having that guilt-free rest.
Yeah, I love that. And how can leaders kind of help employees disconnect instead of, feeling guilty for not being on their phone working?
I think definitely through clear communication over that time off. So making sure that there's that understanding that people aren't required to be working and responding to those emails or joining team meetings. This time off is designated for a reset and relax and to spend time with family or spend time exercising, whatever it is that that person enjoys doing. So definitely having those clear communicatings and also role modeling that
Yeah.
role modeling it. So don't be on that phone and be responding to emails so people get those notifications.
Yeah.
And I think it's also something about kind of like how to use out of office messages, right? So if you send an email, just say like, I don't expect you to reply, or time off means like, I've seen one that was quite interesting, and it said basically, I will be deleting this email, will all be deleted if it's something urgent. Come back to me on the 5th of January when I'm back in the office. All the other emails get deleted and won't be looked at. And that I thought like, oh, actually that is quite crass, but at the same time it's quite interesting to see how someone is quite bold and role models actually rest and recovery really well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, there's a difference between businesses as well, right? Because there's
Yes.
businesses that are quite operational over Christmas. So if you're producing a product, for example, like you're not going to shut the factories down potentially, right? So there might be things happening, but it's also about
No, or
what's
emergency
important or
services.
critical or not exactly, right? So yeah, there's definitely differences between industries, but I think that one, it's on us to put boundaries, and two, as leaders, role model it and keep those boundaries, and then have escalation points,
Yeah.
agreements on that.
And make it and make it also fest if you're working and if you have to work because you are emergency service, make it celebratory in those moments. So when you are on the NHS ward and you are a nurse, then be kind to people. Like, don't push pressure and stress on others where it's not necessary. And take moments also to connect to other people, to colleagues that you might not be talking so much about, or not about, but with.
And I love that because it's kind of a nice segue into our next part, which is my favorite one, because we're all from different countries. Like, we're all from Europe, but it's still different countries, and we have slightly different traditions because of that. And that makes kind of the holiday season really special because people celebrate in different ways, or they might not celebrate at all.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
should we share?
Yeah. So I'm originally from Germany. We celebrate Christmas on the 24th. That is our main day, even though it's half a day's working in the evening. It's all about family. It's not actually the Father Christmas that is coming at that time. It's actually baby Jesus bringing the present, and it's an angel-like child, basically. And she brings the Christmas present. So it's not Santa Claus, actually. Yeah, and we always found 5 o'clock we'd go together, get a meal, and then getting presents. And
Yeah. How about you, Lauren?
So I'm from the UK. I was born and still live in England. And I suppose for me, Christmas has always been about family. I've got a very, very big family. I've got about 11 aunts and uncles. So always a big
brilliant.
family affair on Christmas. So we celebrate Christmas on Christmas Day, so the 25th of December.
Are they
And that
coming all
normally
together for that?
majority of us come together.
Brilliant.
We try to. It's always a bit tricky trying to work out logistics of it because within those, obviously, there's lots of cousins, and some of my cousins have kids now, so it's just an ever-growing family, which is quite nice. Always have small children around for like Christmas time, which is lovely. But we then normally have a big roast turkey dinner with all of the trimmings, so the roast potatoes and Brussels sprouts, carrots, all of that, and sit around the table and play games. So very much is a family orientated Christmas, which I really, really love. Yeah, and it's been like that for 22 years.
Oh, wow. Camilla.
Yeah, no, I grew up with a very traditional Norwegian Christmas kind of celebration. Like, it's winter, the days were super short, candles, very slow day. Eating quite early. It's about kind of like a formal dinner with family. So there's different Norwegian customs when it comes to food. But in my family, we had dried lamb and then akevit on the table, which is funny because I don't like either.
What is
But
akevit?
Akevit, it's like a liquor. It's quite
Oh,
strong, but it
Okay.
goes.
akevit. Ah, yeah, we've got the same in Germany, but it's like an old drink for older people.
Yeah, it's good with the dried lamb because it's very salty.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't like either. So but as you know, my partner's Argentinian, so Christmas can also mean kind of summer, late nights, big family gatherings. So, and we have family in Spain, so depending on whether we're in Norway, Spain, or Argentina, Christmas is kind of slightly different, and that's been a real epiphany for me.
It's one of the Christmas traditions that I love in Norway, and I don't know whether how many families are actually doing it, is having rice pudding for your meal.
Yes, that's for dessert. So you would have
Mm.
like a sweet rice pudding, and then you put an almond in it. And so there's only one almond, unless there's a lot of kids, and then you might put in all the kids once. But then the one who wins finds the almond in the rice pudding gets like a prize. Usually it's like a marzipan pig or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a big thing for dessert. And then there's like
Love it.
coffee and tea and cookies, and then opening presents and stuff from Santa Claus on the 24th, by the way. This is happening.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I love rice pudding, so
Me
excellent.
too.
I love this different tradition. Every family has also their own little things that they're doing, so it's always lovely to hear different things. But let's shift years now, because obviously we are all very different. And something I feel really strong about, and I've done also the Micro Monday on it already, is how a chief CTC can help leaders make holidays period more inclusive. Because let's face it, not everyone celebrates Christmas in the same way. Not everyone wants to take days off forcefully just because it's Christmas, and not everyone has family to spend time with. Some people actually, it's one of the loneliest time of the year. So what should leaders do, Camilla, to make this time more inclusive?
Yeah, so I mean, a few reminders, and I might repeat some of the stuff that Catherine just mentioned, but I think the most important one is to don't assume everyone's actually celebrating Christmas. Like it's kind of a religious, I would say, celebration, and different religions, no religion, whatnot. Just don't assume that they're celebrating. And then you also mentioned something, Catherine, it's the loneliest time of the year, right? So maybe avoid saying things like everyone's with family now, because it can be a time of grief and loneliness. And that can be, it's a really tough period for some people. And up here in North, it's also very short days. So you don't have a lot of sunlight and things kind of slows down, things close down. So it can be really hard on people. And then celebrate choice, not tradition. So whether people want to break, like travel over the break, whether they want to volunteer, whether they want to rest or not celebrate at all, like just celebrate that choice, because everyone's different and needs different
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah, and that brings me to the point of what organizations can actually do is like really offer flexibility. Don't force everyone to have a week off, but someone who's not celebrating, give them maybe the days back to when they're celebrating their holidays as well. And don't try to cram in deadlines right before or right after the holidays, because that almost builds up the pressure. And I understand, obviously, for sales organizations, different. They try to hit their numbers. But let's face it, if you haven't hit your number by the 24th, the likelihood you will hit it on the 1st is probably not so big. Like, make sure it's done before you actually get to the point of making it really stressful. And then also model boundaries. If leaders respond to email on Christmas Eve, everyone else will feel they have to as well. So the higher you up in the organization, the more responsibility you have to role model this.
Yeah, it's kind of about the shadow that you cast, right? And as Lauren mentioned, really do role model that. It is so important because it's really difficult to keep boundaries when you have someone who's constantly sending your emails, because then you're not like you're setting different expectations, right? And there's this quote saying true inclusion is not about celebrating the same thing. It's about making space for everyone's traditions and everyone needs. And I just really love that.
Yeah, it's brilliant. That's really good one, I think. So 2025 is nearly done. 2026, what is everyone looking forward to? What is exciting for you?
I can't believe how quickly
I
2020
know.
kind of went, but yeah, and that is already almost January. But for me, it's about continuing to build on what we've started, creating a community here on YouTube, supporting our clients, launching the Achieve Lead Essentials. And everyone who knows me knows that I really enjoy big picture thinking and strategic work and all of that. For those of you who are interested in organizational trends, we'll be hosting a webinar in January focused on mega trends shaping leadership and talent. So please do sign up for that.
And we put the link down in the not speaker notes, but in the podcast notes, so you can sign up straight away. Yeah, and for me, it's like that personally, I have signed up to a few challenges, which will be quite tricky to or manage, but one is I'm doing a half Ironman, so that I'm really excited about. And then I'm also looking forward to launching our Leadership Essential course, a course for leaders that needs the support but might not get it from the organization. So that is launching at the end of January. And I'm really looking forward to all the client work that we have booked in. We've got some incredible leadership programs booked in. We've got a amazing client portfolio that we're working with, and I'm really excited to see how that is all panning out.
Yeah. How about you, Lauren?
I'm really excited to continue working with Achieve CTC. As Camilla mentioned about the webinar, I'm really excited to deliver that, to help on with that and look at content for that. So that'll be really, really exciting. So definitely make sure you sign up for that. And then I suppose personally, I'll be graduating in 2026, so very exciting. Will be finishing university, been studying for 4 years, so it feels really exciting to kind of be looking at closing that off, and yeah, finishing my degree. So 2026 will be an exciting year.
Oh, exciting
Big
years. And then
milestone.
I was about to say, and then choosing where you want to go from there.
Lots of different opportunities.
Yeah, I love that.
Excellent.
So I have a challenge for each of you. So let's choose one word that we want our 2026 to be defined by. Who wants to go first?
I can go first. Challenging in a good way.
Lauren?
I suppose it's not overly challenging, but I would say for me, growth and pushing myself, this is not one word, but growth, but in terms of pushing myself outside of my comfortable boundaries and allowing myself to learn new skills and have different opportunities that might make me feel uncomfortable, but have an amazing output because I have these amazing experiences. So mine would definitely be growth.
I love that. Mine, I think, is balance. So we've kind of learned a lot this year. We've been super courageous, spent a lot of time designing and building stuff. And I want to keep some of that as we also continue to deliver more. So my balance comes from not being too operational and still kind of diving into the strategic, and then also balancing work and personal life, continue to spending more time at home with the kids.
And now I'd be also interested in what our audience would see. So if you have a word that you are using to describe your 2026 and what you want it to look like, put it down in the comments and let us know.
I love that. And
Yeah,
as we wrap up, I really wanted to say a heartfelt thank you to all our listeners, our clients, our partners, and our supporters.
absolutely. We are really grateful for every conversation, every project, every moment of growth and grace. Uh, and yeah, we want to keep this going and hope that you'll be part of the journey.
And whatever your traditions are, or if you don't celebrate at all, we wish you rest, meaning, and connection in ways that are meaningful for you. So
Yeah,
take
take
care
care
of
of
yourselves.
self. Yeah, take care of each other. And we can't wait to grow talent and leadership with you in 2026.
Enjoy the holidays.
Bye.
Joy.